arrangement. Closest to me is Professor Enoch Opoku-Ntwi. He's a governance and policy analyst. Prof, we are live from the village. Your microphone is just by you, Prof. Yeah, this one.
Oh, I see. This is a beautiful village. And I am thrilled to be here. I've seen the band. I wish my guy is really good, but I think I'm better than you.
Oh, I mean, I will not argue that out. I'm a typical, I'm 100% in Zimmerman.
You are?
Yes, I'm from Ekwe. That is within the Elembele.
Oh, I'm a Cove Town guy. So.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
You grew up in Cove Town?
Yes, I'm a Cove Town boy.
Oh, I see.
Yes.
I see. I mean, next to Prof is Ebo Bachman, Senior Communicator, Movement for Change. Ebo, where is the village at?
Yeah. You want to know where I come from? My mom, Mankesim, my dad, Anomabu.
Oh.
And interestingly, my mom is called Amle.
Oh. How is that possible?
And my first daughter is called Amle. My mom could speak the Ghana language fluently, the typical one. Unfortunately, none of her children could speak. And so I have some connection with the Ghanailand.
I see.
And so that's why my first daughter,
I see,
that I named after my mom, is called Abalamle.
Oh, okay, I see. Next to him is Kwame Jantua. He's a legal practitioner, energy analyst. He's a member of the Convention People's Party, the party that led Ghana into independence.
Good morning, Akable.
The same question to you.
You are being mischievous. Good morning to our viewers. You're in the village. Where's the palm wine?
Oh, it will come.
To come.
It will come, yeah.
You have to come before we leave.
The tappers have gone to get the palm wine, so they will come at some point, I'm sure.
Okay.
We certainly need a palm wine.
But where do you hail from, Mr. Jantua?
Who, me? My father is from Amponti. My mother is from Asante Mampong.
Oh, I see. I
don't speak Ghana.
But did you grow up in that area?
No.
Accra boy?
No. I grew up in Kumasi and Accra.
Oh, I see.
Yes.
I see.
And some other places, but I won't mention that one.
Next to him is Abraham Amaleba, Acting Director General, National Road Safety Authority. Mr. Amaleba, how are you doing?
I'm well, except that I had a protest to make when I called your producer to inform him that today being a cultural day, it should have informed us to be in our
traditional clothes.
I think because of the protest you are making, your mic is not working. You may have to just use that of Mr. Jantua for now while we rectify that.
So the protest was to the effect that today being a cultural day, I expected your producer to have informed us that we should dress appropriately to fit the occasion. And as we sit here, it's only one person I think has dressed appropriately. We, the rest of us, are like people who have come from town. And this is a village. I don't dress this way to my village. When I'm going to my village,
I mean, to be fair, this is a typical African political suit as well. So we are within the same.
Yeah, that's just to placate me. That's just to placate me. But in the village, I don't dress this way too.
Yeah, but we're having a discussion a bit about the villages where we all hail from. Your hometown. Where do you?
Yes, I hail from. Both father and mother hail from Kolgo in the Upper East region. That's beyond Navasco, Navrongo Secondary School. When on your way to a town called Naga, Kolgo is there. But grew up in Bolgatanga mainly. And so that is my...
Are these places you still visit on the regular?
Oh yeah, I visit them regularly. I'm a regular visitor. The last time was just January, when I attended a funeral there. But Bolga is where the home is.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay, I mean, great one there.
But Akable, where are you from?
I'm from Ekwe. I actually mentioned it before you came in to fire me about the palm wine.
No, but
you know Ekwe, right?
Our viewers haven't heard it. So where's Ekwe?
Ekwe is Elembele constituency. Yeah.
How often do you go there?
Oh, I was there in December. I actually spent Christmas there.
Okay,
yeah, between 23rd all the way to 27th.
Did you grow up there?
You guys should be going home every
weekend. Did you grow
up
there?
No, I didn't grow up there. No, I grew up here in Accra.
I go to Koforidua every weekend. You guys
should
be going home every
but
weekend.
it's a stone through from here.
Yeah, that's almost...
Mine is Mampong.
The journey to Ekwe is about 6 hours. A little over 6 hours, actually.
Compared to Koforidua?
Yes, Cove Town is 1 hour.
Exactly.
But of course, I grew up in Cape Coast. I was born and bred in Cape Coast. So all my life, because I think at the university level that I came to Accra.
Okay.
So I lived all my life in Cape Coast, and I do go to Cape Coast quite often.
I see.
Yeah,
I think
so
it's a
Cape Coaster.
I think it's an issue of distance, but I had a very good time when I spent Christmas at Ekwe. I mean, it was a bit of a different experience. Yeah. It's very, the celebrations over there, very communal. So you have a lot of people coming round. You don't have people staying indoors like you have here in Accra. A lot of communal activities. So it was very different for me, and I really enjoyed it. And I look forward to.
Yeah, I was there. I was in Elembele constituency, October thereabouts.
Yeah, it's a beautiful place. But
apart from March, do we feel culture?
It's to be
huge
fair,
challenge, you know.
Yes,
because there are a lot of languages we are losing in Ghana today. I mean, our ethnic languages.
Yeah, yeah.
And really, something has to be done about it. Our children today, their first language is English. Really, something has to be done about it.
We need a whole show to talk about.
Well, whatever the case is, we need to highlight it.
Develop our languages.
Yeah.
Yes, we need to.
I've actually seen a report that suggests that there is one indigenous language where the current speakers are less than 5.
Yes, I've seen that report too.
Yeah. I mean, so it basically means that when they are out of the system and they don't pass it on, the language is done. Yeah.
The kids don't want to learn most of the native language. But in psychology, do you know that we dream in a native language, not the language that you learned?
We don't even pray in our native language. We pray in English.
Maybe we think that God hears us in English than our native language, which is terrible.
And even today being African, if you like, a village setting, and if you're in a village, of course, we should be combining the local language, possibly, and the English.
Yes. Why are we speaking English?
Today they say they are doing the Ghana, specifically Ghana marriages. So if you want to do your Ghana, but just that I can't translate, and me too, I can't speak. So we'll have a problem.
That's a disclaimer.
And that will be a problem.
So some of the questions you asked today, I can speak in Tree. Can I?
Ghana.
Well, for the
Ghana and translate.
I don't speak Ghana.
So that
I don't speak Ghana, but at least I speak a local language.
Well, if you're in trouble, you can manage in between there. I mean, but I mean, yesterday was Independence Day. I mean, Ghana turned 68, and I just want to start with you, Prof, on this. Yesterday we covered the independence celebration. We'll talk a bit about that. But in terms of the nation being 68, I mean, as a nation, what comes to mind? I mean, when we woke up on Independence Day, that I mean, the country's birthday. What kind of thoughts ran through your mind on such a day?
Well, Aka, greetings to our cherished listeners all over the world. I think that if you look at 60, 80 years journey of a child born, we are suffering from a disease called atrophy. Atrophy means you are refusing to grow. And I'm talking about in financial terms. If you listen to the SONA, the State of the Nation address by the President, he said that the state of the nation is not good. And if the state of our nation is not good after 68 years, even if it's a human being born, that person would have retired at 60 because the retirement age in Ghana is 60. Now 68, we are still going to IMF and World Bank and then looking for aid and all that because we've not been self-reliant, we've not been self-independent. And that means we've not managed our resources prudently. So I like the modesty aspect of yesterday. And yes, today is exactly 2 months that JDM came to office. But if you look at the modesty, because last year, the 67th one was held in Koforidua, my village, which is not a village. And I was there. So I sat down and watched. If you look at the cost, we spent 15 million Ghana cedis, according to the report. And I think that it might be more than that. With all the military, with the students coming in, accommodation, feeding them, transportation, even the Koforidua road, they had to make some patches to the place. And after the 6th March independence anniversary, they stopped the road construction. A lot of things went in. We spent 13.9 million Ghana cedis. So we are being told that this one was 1/10 of the cost. And I think that 1/10 of the cost is going to cost us around 1.5 million Ghana cedis, which means we saved a lot. But I'm moving to governance, the realm of governance. In governance, if you save, you have to use the saved money to do something that will represent that this money that I saved, this is what I use it for. So the over 13 to 14 million cedis that the government saved from the modesty in which we operated or celebrated the 6th March yesterday, I need to recommend the government. If you don't have money, you don't have to be ostentatious. You don't have to be just showing opulence. We were very moderate that we don't have money. Let's celebrate it in the quiet. few marchings, poetry recitals, some students do something. And last year, I also saw a lot of people collapsing. A lot of them collapsed there while they were still on parade. We avoided that yesterday. Moving forward, I think that if you look at the 2016 when JDM inaugurated the health center at Legon, it cost us about $217 million. We have about 597-bed facility. Can we use the money saved to build another health facility? I'm anticipating that the next 4 years, if we can build any ultra-modern health facility by saving the money on the 6th March in at least even 4 regions, that would be a very remarkable thing that the president have done. We're also looking at STEM schools. STEM schools, which is really important. And if we can also use the saved money to build a STEM school, then we can point out that the money we saved on 6th March, this is what we use the money for.
I see. I mean, Ebo, he said Ghana would have retired, but if Ghana was on the Supreme Court, 2 more years to retirement, are we doing well as a nation?
Akable, a good morning to our viewers, and a good morning to my colleagues here and your crew here. To determine whether you are doing well or not, we would have to do 2 things. We would have to look at our potential, what we could have achieved or we could have done, given the kind of resources we have, the human resource, the natural resource, the marine resource. I've always said that Ghana is a country so blessed, yet so poor. That is the paradox of our situation. And if you look at it from the perspective of our potential and our reality, the gap is very wide. In other words, we could have done much more than what we've done so far. I believe that in terms of political stability, we've done so well. Where we have not performed so well is the area of the economy, the economic management. I believe that we've not been able to harness the kind of potential, the resources we have to be able to get to where we're supposed to be. So on that score, I would say we've not done so well when we juxtapose where we are with where we could have been. Another way we can also look at it is if you compare Ghana to other countries that started with us. I think we were born around the same time, like the Singapore, like Malaysia and other countries, even in Africa here, Cote d'Ivoire and other countries that are doing so well. If you compare how we all started, the fact that even at the time that we started, we were better than them. Now, if you consider how far they've gone to in terms of development and how we are struggling, you realize that 68 years, we've not done much. Which means there's still room for improvement. That is why the theme for this year's anniversary was spot on. That if you are really serious about the theme, that you are going to reflect, review, and reset. If you are going to be serious about it, I believe that when all is said and done, after we have retrospectively reflected, introspectively reflected, and prospectively reflected, we should be able to get to a point where we realize that there were avoidable mistakes that we did in the past that we don't have to repeat. And I believe that our political class have a lot to do if you're going to do reflection, because they are the managers of the economy. So much as the citizens are also expected to do some introspective reflection, I expect the political class to do more, because they are managers of the economy, of our natural resources. So if they're able to reflect on their own performances in the past and the things that we could have avoided, but we made, the mistakes that we could have avoided, but we unfortunately made, if you could reflect on our political system, whether the kind of democracy we are having is delivering the goods. Because we are having a democracy where when one party performs so badly and the party is voted out or the government is voted out, all that they will have to do is to gather themselves and pray that the current government will fail. Because if the current government fails, then they become the automatic alternative. That's the system we are practicing. And we need to be reflecting on that, whether we can do it, we can improve on that system to avoid that situation. So, Ghana for 68. So far, not so good.
Mr. Jantua, I mean, your party led us into independence. Mr. Jantua, your party led us into independence. And, I mean, there's one video that I always like to watch so much. In Nkrumah, flanked by Gbedema and the rest at the old polo grounds, declaring independence. I mean, at that point in the national life, it seemed like there was a big thing going to happen here in Ghana. If your founder were to come back today, do you think he would be proud of? Would he even recognize? Yeah, I mean the founder of the CPP. I mean, in that context, but Ghana's founder. I mean, if he were to come back to Ghana today, would he be proud of, or would he even identify this as the country he birthed? You would have to find your microphone first.
Good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
You need to define what you mean by "are we doing well?" What is it? To some, we are. To others, we might not be. What if Nkrumah were to come today? I'm sure Nkrumah himself, if he were able to come back after 66, there would have been many things he would have changed. I don't think we have done well politically and economically. Yes, on the political side, we've been able to get ourselves off colonialism and all that stuff. We seem to be manning our own affairs politically, but are we? Are we? Politically, are the parties even communicating? Just as my brother said, one party comes in, the other party is quiet. They are waiting to come in to do their own thing. The party that leaves is quiet. We do not sit and try and build a nation. So the just ended economic forum, how many MPP people were there? How many? They have just left government. They have seen the good and bad of some of the things that happened while they were in power. Don't you think it would have been a good thing for them to come and tell us, please don't go down this line. If you go down this line, X and Y is probably what can happen, because we were there and we saw it. I was in one of the committee meetings on the private sector, and some of the things that came out, you could see they were heavy. But there was no MPP person there who had left government to also give his point of view. So you ask the question, are we building a nation or are we building political parties? On that score, I don't think we have done too well. Where the youth feel it's only through politics that you can make money. Politics is not a money-making event. Politics is a service event where you go and serve. But do we see it that way? We don't see it that way. So on that score, we haven't really done well. On the economic side, that we can't even go there. You talked about Nkrumah. What didn't he do to get us through in terms of industrialization? If you see the quantum of factories, in those days, I was a little boy then, they will come and even put you from school before you even finished to go and work in industry. Does it happen today? All those, look, a lot of things we import today, we were manufacturing then. Why haven't we been able to build on it? What is it that stops us? Because what we are fond of doing is that, oh, Nkrumah was a communist, Nkrumah was this, he was that. Not even thinking of some of the things he was able to do to move this country forward. And yes, geopolitics played a huge role. And sometimes we pander to geopolitics And that geopolitics doesn't help the ordinary man. If this were a typical village, are they thinking of geopolitics? No. They are thinking of, okay, a cray, send a baye yamame, so misusuma. And that is a challenge politicians of today have to be able to solve. I think we've gotten to a stage where, okay, you have two dominant parties. We've got to a stage where those two dominant parties should be able to sit and talk. I would want a situation today where President Mahama will call President Kufuor and call President Nana-Addo. Three of them sit and have a meeting to discuss Ghana. President Kufuor will bring his experience. President Kufuor, who has just left, will bring his experience. President Mahama, from his experience, being in opposition and coming back in, would have a lot to contribute. And then based on that, we start moving the country forward. But you find they try to do what they want to do and others are pulling you down. It doesn't work. If we really want to build a nation called Ghana, we should be able to work together. And most of all, the people have to be part and parcel of it. You cannot put the people aside.
I mean, Mr. Jantua, do you share the view by some? I mean, the president made reference to the military intervention, which he felt set Ghana back a bit. Do you agree with the view that the multiple interventions that we had did not ensure stability as well, and that in the last 30 years, where we've had a bit of democratic stability, we may have well been making some significant gains?
Did you experience any coup?
No, I didn't.
Okay. I experienced all the coups from 66.
From 66?
Yes, from 66. I experienced all. And it put us back 20 years. The 66. The 66 coup put us back maybe 25, 30 years from where we were. Look, Ghana was the only country in Africa that had an atomic reactor. We were thinking far ahead because we knew that energy was key. Where's our energy situation today in Ghana? That is why I'm saying that we've got to...
I mean, even talk of Akosombo Dam for a population less than 5 million. I mean, if it was today, I don't think we would even think of having
when
it.
Kwame Nkrumah did Akosombo Dam, he didn't think Akosombo Dam should last us 30 years.
Yeah.
His was that it would last us for a certain duration of time. We need nuclear. That's why he brought an atomic reactor in. At the time, we didn't have renewables. So the main option was nuclear. If we had moved that forward, wouldn't we be energy sufficient today? Now we are all struggling to get into the nuclear field. Yes, new forms of nuclear equipment have come which make it much easier and which make it much cheaper. However, where is the energy sector today? Food inflation today. We can't feed ourselves today. Why? Gold. That flitters the whole country. That can really put this country back to where it is. We haven't formalized it. If we are to formalize gold in cooperatives like we do our farming, don't you think it would be good? Because right now, Galam said, you think the youth are going to stop? They are not going to stop. We need to find a better way of doing it. But are we? We are fighting. We are quarreling. We are bickering. We are not doing the things we need to do to make the people satisfied and comfortable. And not until we start doing that, then we have a long way to go, unfortunately.
I mean, let me come to Mr. Amaliba now. Mr. Amaliba, they all agree that Ghana is not doing well. But, I mean, obviously, it will mean that one way or the other, they are pointing fingers at the NDC and the MPP for that matter, because both parties have had significant periods governing the country. I mean, the consensus generally is that you are failing to deliver on the aspirations of our forebears.
Well, I think that there's something at least to celebrate. As a nation, we'll be able to sustain our democracy. As a nation, we'll be able to keep together as one people. I'm saying this because there are some countries that are falling into war. There are some countries where you get there, there's no law and order. So at least on that score, yes, I am of the view that there's something to celebrate about. But is that the only thing that we expected when we gained independence? That wasn't the only thing. And that's where I feed into their discussions, or I feed into their submissions. We started with people like Malaysia, the people like Singapore. But today, when you look at those two countries and you compare to Ghana, we are far, far behind. Now, what are we supposed to do? We have hit rock bottom. And when you hit rock bottom, the only thing is to rise. You know that. When you hit rock bottom, you can't go further again.
You can't go further.
Now you have to rise. And I'm seeing that in what President John Mahama is doing. The singular decision to scale down the celebrations, for me, was commendable. Did we lose anything by scaling down? No. Did we gain? All panelists here have admitted that we gained. We gained in terms of time. We gained in terms of not having people collapsing, school children standing on the stand, in the stand and collapsing. We gained by also saving some money. Moving forward, should we continue having a scaled down celebration? My answer is yes. And then what do we do with the savings? And that's where I agree with Prof, that we should begin to earmark projects with these funds so that the people can visibly see. Because when you just talk on paper and say, I've saved 95%, it doesn't make sense to the ordinary Ghanaian. But if the ordinary Ghanaian sees that the money was used for this, he can see it feely, Ghani. In fact, Magafuli did that and we could learn from it. Where in his case, he used to build hospitals. We could also do the same. Because for me, it is not just about celebrating, but it is also about preaching and establishing what I would term as values that we can aspire to. Citizenship, nationalism, unity, patriotism. How do we use the Independence Day to galvanize our people? I just returned from Rwanda, and I couldn't believe that these were people who suffered genocide.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe. Look,
Kigali is a beautiful place. It's a beautiful place.
At a point, I asked our guide, so do you people also run to Europe? Because it's like Europe, you know? So it is doable. It has been done somewhere. We can do it. We just need selfless leadership. And when we get that one, I'm telling you, Akabile, we can rise.
I mean, Prof reminded us that today is exactly 3 months since John Dramani Mahama took office for his second term. 2 months. 2 months. I mean, would you say that so far you believe that your party is on the path to resetting Ghana as he had campaigned on and as he's been speaking about so far?
We can only compare ourselves to the previous administration. I'm sure by now you know that 2 months into the regime of Akufo-Addo, we had scandals. Moving Pina, the oil scandals. But look at this administration, cutting down on cost. These celebrations is a clear indication of commitment to cut down on waste. When you listen to social media, you read social media platforms, the verdict is that the president is striking the right chord. And for me, he has nothing to lose because he's no more coming back. What he can only do is to save the NDC party. And how does he save it? By continuously ruling well. And that's the only way that his name will be written in the annals of this of history.
I mean, in terms of the cost-cutting measures, I mean, some of the critics have said that, well, he's cut down on a number of ministers, but they see a number of staffers and deputies being appointed.
Been debunked.
I mean, I heard the former deputy chief of staff, the former lands and natural resources minister, make the point that from the numbers that he's looking at, he thinks that you are going to cross what President Akufo-Addo did over the period of the presidency.
But you see, he only spoke without giving us numbers. But Felix, who speaks for government, gave us specific numbers. They are just about 60 president staffers. So if you are coming out to criticize, be on terra firma. You know what that means? You are a law student. Be on firm grounds.
Yeah.
You don't just come and spew anything and expect people to come and respond and now give the figures. You know, I'm thinking that he was dreaming that I'm sure these numbers have gone up. Let me just say this and force him to come and give figures. We do that in politics. You throw out there. So I think that so far, I think this government is doing well. We think that it will continue to do well, and the people of Ghana will be the beneficiaries of this administration.
I mean, Mr. Jantua, from the president's speech, I mean, we get a sense of some of the main areas he intends to focus on, and he makes the point that, well, it's time that we assess our economic outlook, education, human resource development, natural resource management, national security, and governance arrangements. He now says we have to do a thorough review of our healthcare system, agriculture, food security, infrastructure, urban development, and the role of science and technology and innovation. I mean, do you see these as broadly capturing the issues or the sectors that he ought to focus on in the next 4 years?
They are the pillars that he wants to work with. But I expect the president, in areas where he needs to bite the bullet, he should bite the bullet. And I'll give you one example. There's been so much talk about President Akufo-Addo's 111 hospitals.
Hospitals, yes.
It's ambitious. Can we afford it?
In fact, we are told that we've spent about $400 million all across, but we don't have a single one being operational.
What figures are they giving us to finish the 111 hospitals?
More than $1 billion.
More than $1 billion.
Yeah.
Some 1.4, some 1.7, some 1.9. President Mahama should bite the bullet. Tell Ghanaians, we can't afford this ambitious project. So what we're going to do, we're going to build, and these 111 hospitals were district hospitals, right?
Yes.
Okay. We're going to build 16 hospitals, one in every region. Good hospitals, fully equipped, one in every region. If between now and the 4 years, he builds 4 every year, by the time he finishes, how many would he have had?
In fact, the finance minister said we could have had 22 with the 400 million if we are just stuck to just 22.
So I'm saying, this is what he should do. Build 16. And what does that do? It stops Ghanaians having to travel miles to either go to Akomfo-Anokye or come to Kolebu. It stops those who have terminal illnesses from having to travel, because that is cost to the ordinary man. So build 16, every region. Ghanaians know we can't afford it. This example he's shown with independence shows that Ghanaians accept the fact that we don't have the money. Yes, healthcare is important. I think it's one of the most important things, because as you're sitting here today, small headache, you won't be able to come to work.
Yeah.
So that is key. So I expect him to bite the bullet where he's supposed to bite the bullet. And this particular one is one he can do. On the others, energy is key. Technology is key because of where the world is coming from and where the world is going to. Agriculture, key. We need to be able to feed ourselves. Even if we're not going to export our food, we need to be self-sufficient to feed ourselves. We are importing things that we can do in this country. Tomatoes, we are importing. Rice, we are importing. Fish, we are importing. Importing everything. And what is that? That is capital flight. It is a pillar you should look at. But I think most of all, and something struck me this week, when I heard the explosion that happened around Odumase, when I heard that the inhabitants there were stoning the one fire tender they had. They were stoning because they felt the fire service people were leaving. What kind of mindset is that? So you can see, mindset is a huge, huge challenge in this country. Not only for the youth, but for everybody. We need to find a way to do that. Where is the NCCEE today? What is happening with them today? Are we financing them well enough for them to be able to help with this mindset change? Because without a mindset change, you can have the most beautiful things. Because the mindset is skewed, nothing comes to you. When we built the so-called Dubai Circle, what were people doing? They were sleeping underneath the place. Beautiful place. What were politicians doing? They were putting their posters, election posters, on the walls of that place. the dirt and the unsightly side it showed us. Some of these things we should know is not right. You go to other countries, I don't think Rwanda, when they're having elections, a place where they've spent money to beautify, they'll put posters there. The AMA should work. Where they have written post no bill, anybody who posts the bills there, whether a politician or a politician, charge them to court, because you're not supposed to do that. If we cannot change the mindset, then we have a huge challenge. But I wish President Mahama well. He has started well. He has shown that you can handle a country if you decide to do the right things. And he decided. We are not going to have this lavish independence celebrations at Black Star Square where we always have, because we do not have the money. Yes, there'll be some critics, but has it saved us? It has. At least if for nothing at all. You didn't see children marching in the sun and collapsing. You didn't see it. It was the military people who were there. Nice, short, and crisp. That is what we're looking for. But yes, I do agree. If every independence, we can start a project, even if that Independence Day is to grow trees. To grow trees. By the next independence the following year, we would have seen the trees growing, wouldn't we? It would be a mark of that particular Independence Day. So I think the pillars that you have given is the pillars he can work with, but we need to expand those pillars, and we need to make sure we have the wherewithal to make sure that those pillars work for us.
He made reference to natural resource management, and earlier we had mentioned Singapore. Singapore, if you read Lee Kuan Yew's book, it's a country that basically did not have the resources that we do have. And so the question now remains that how do we take advantage of what makes us stand out? Because even those without those resources available have been able to make significant strides.
Yeah. You see, last week I made a statement that any country that has developed did so on the back of two key imperatives: leadership and laws. You can't do without good leadership and good laws. And that is what made Singapore, Singapore. And the same as Malaysia. If you go to South Korea, the same. It's leadership and laws. So they don't joke with their leadership at all. So it's not something, you can't easily become a leader by virtue of the fact that you belong to a political party. It's about the quality of the person. It's about whether the person will be able to deliver. Because when they give you position, they don't go to sleep like we mostly do in our part of the world. So, yes, I believe that moving forward as a nation, we will need a more sustainable economic model. So far, our economic models have not worked. That is why we are where we are. And so if you're going to have economic model that prioritizes exports and import substitution relative to agricultural revolution, for example, industrial transformation, value addition to our natural resources. And I believe that we've had a very fantastic opportunity with Atoforsen's determination to make things work. I want to see Dr. Atoforsen and Dr. Isiama, the governor of Bank of Ghana. He's someone I really have confidence in. I believe with his collaboration with the finance minister, they will be able to do much with our fiscal and monetary policies. Because in the previous administration, what we didn't have, or what we had, was a situation where the finance minister and the governor were churning out misguided monetary and fiscal policies. And unfortunately for the country, the one who was supposed to be leading the orchestra, that is what I've always said, Dr. Bawumia, was also out of tune, singing about digitalization. In fact, that digitalization nonsense have to be reduced. Because if you have not made noise about agriculture, if you have not made noise about manufacturing, why are you making noise about fourth industrial revolution? I've always said that check economic history of China and India. The world started the first industrial revolution in the 18th century. Western Europe and America, that's when they started. The second one was in the 19th century. The 20th century was the third one. China and India joined or had their first industrial revolution in the 20th century. And when they had it, at the time they had it, Western Europe and America were having their third industrial revolution. They could have joined the third industrial revolution, but they didn't do that. They went down to begin the first industrial revolution. And that is what is lacking in this country. As a country, we've never had our first industrial revolution. So why are you making noise about the fourth industrial revolution? I have said that God in his own infinite wisdom put easy things on the surface of the earth for us and put the hard ones beneath the earth. So, agriculture, easy on the surface of the earth. Gold, difficult to get because it is beneath. Why haven't we focused first on the easy ones? Make so much for ourselves so that we can use our own resources to go beneath. Check all our laws and contracts governing our natural resources. Recently, the former Chief Justice, who is now a Council of State member, said we need to review our laws relative to the contracts that we have with our natural resources because they don't favor us. We are the number one producer of gold in Africa. How have you benefited from that? The fact that we are the number one producer of gold in Africa. I said it we are the number 6th in the world, the 6th largest producer of gold in the world. How have you benefited? So for me, if we can look at the model and now focus on what we can easily do, and let me say this, I like the determination and the drive of the Agric Minister, Eric Opoku. Yeah. I mean, so far, he's shown that he's in to do business. And if we can also help the private sector, because Agric business shouldn't be, people are saying that we should go back to the state farm era where the state can have farms. Yes, the state can have farms, but I believe that the private sector should be empowered to be able to lead the charge in terms of our agricultural revolution, our industrial transformation, and even value addition to our natural resources. And so that's where the governor and Dr. Atufosin come in, because they would have to control the fiscal and monetary policy in such a way that we can have a stable currency, if you like, a low interest rate, a low inflation, so that we can our entrepreneurs, our private sector actors can be competitive in the Africa Continental Free Trade Area and even beyond. Because the kind of economic environment we have, where you have debt overhang, high inflation, high interest rate, unstable currency. Of course, if you're a businessman in Ghana, you're taking loan at interest rate of 35 to 40%, and your colleague in Ivory Coast or Benin is taking a loan at interest rate of 5%, 6%, sometimes 3%. How are you going to be competitive? How are you going to compete with them? So, yes, much as we would want the government to work on these things, we also expect the private sector to position itself to take advantage of what this government is doing. And so far, let me be honest with you, I've said that when the president goofs, I will come out to say it. So far, the president has done, except one area I think he has not been loud on, and that is the area of Galamsey. I've not heard him say the things.
I think over the weekend, there's even a story about an NDC official that blocked, a task force had gone around. Yes, I think either the western or central region, and they had blocked them when they were moving around, and that has also been an issue of concern. Yeah,
so if Galamsey poses existential threats, then it is important that any opportunity the president gets, he must make noise about it, because it's a very serious problem that confronts us. And so far, the president has done so well, let me be honest. I believe that he can do more in respect of the Galamsey issue.
I mean, Prof, Mr. Jantua touched on the role of citizens to an extent, some of the things that we do that are quite problematic. And the president does make the point that I mean, this is a defining moment, but policies alone, no matter how well couched, will not change our reality. It says young Ghanaians must step up, seize these opportunities, and contribute to building a self-sufficient nation. Ghana's economic future is in your hands. I mean, what role must citizens play in the next few years?
Aka, citizenship is really, really important in every country that you go. I live in U.S. for 20 years. And anytime you will see the flag of America everywhere, it's USA. USA. It is not about your political party, but a country that gives you an identity. Now, what do you give back to a country that gives you an identity? You have to respect the law and then show patriotism to the national flag, to the anthem, and everything. I've never seen a people that hates their country like Ghanaians. Why do I say so? Go to even a hotel, you will see American flag, you will see the British flag, and Ghana flag is not there. You are a Ghanaian having a hotel on the soil of Ghana, and then you don't have your own flag. Why? Are we not proud of who we are? But I can tell you that Ghanaians abroad are more proud of Ghana than even those here. We celebrate, I was Ghana Association president in Cincinnati, Ohio for many years. We celebrate 6 March. We bring churches together, we play games, we do some health checks, we do all these things because we love the country of our birth. But you come home and then the very citizens you left, they don't seem to love the country. But without Ghana, you are nobody. Without Ghana, what is the meaning of your political party? And I keep telling them anytime I will be giving 6 March speech that who cares whether you are a Ghana or a Northerner or Ashanti or anywhere? We are all Ghanaians. And that patriotism is not there. Everybody is saying, as for me and my family, we were born into MPP. As for me and my family, we were born into NDC. So you won't change your mind and align with a policy that will help your pocket and your family. We are stuck to political parties to understand that we are worshiping political parties and we don't care about the nation that gives us identity. And that worries me. The other thing that I expect from the youth is that some people are so much embedded in corruption that it is stuck. Their hands are stuck, sticky on the wall. And those hands need to be cut. I am saying this with all seriousness. In 2023, National Service Scheme paid 900 million Ghana cedis allowance to 140,000 personnel. Now, in February 2025, after the head count, they paid allowance to only 98,000 National Service personnel. So 40,000 people were ghost names. Now, these are not ghosts. They are calculated names, corrupt people who calculate names just to take money from the poor person. As we speak this morning, somebody cannot even get simple Gary to eat. We have the money there. We have gold, we have bauxite, we have manganese, we have everything. Go to England and see what they have. Sweet potato and what? Wheat. And yet we go to them and borrow. Now let me come to the Ministry of Education. The outgone minister said that we were told that we had 5.1 million students who benefited from free senior high school, right? Now a new, yes, 5.1 million. A new government comes and then the figure drops to what? 3.4 million. That means we have 1.7 million extra who budgets were made for food allocation and everything, and nobody is asking questions. Can't you read in between the lines? So what do you expect the youth to do? The youth is hardworking, and we should also hammer on hard work. Those who work hard in this country, they are not successful. It is those who cut corners. So you go to the ministries, they will come to the minister, watch this person. Please watch this person. I know they have been telling you, be careful about this person. Now those who cut corners and gossip about the other people do well in the country, but the youth that work hard, the masons, the carpenters, the market women, they rather suffer and they don't get anything. So your father stole from the public purse. My father did not, and I'm poor, and you blame me for being poor. Go to even WAEC. Students are cutting corners. Government had to spend $4 million to buy past questions. You spend public money to buy past questions for students. Seriously? And why wouldn't people just go and cut corners and find a pot to pass? But then somebody also learns how to get 9 1s or 9 A's. And then somebody get 35, and they said, there is this word protocol. So somebody brings protocol 35, and that person sits with another person who learned hard to get 9 1s. That is not fair. What about somebody who don't have a chief, a big king, or a politician who will lead them to protocol? So we are building a system that is skewed in favor of the rich, the political class, and then some chiefs and some pastors. The rest are just hanging in there. And we should be able to make sure that these stops. The youth are ready to work. If you go to Rwanda, 1994, within 100 days, over 100,000 people were killed. Now you go there, even to the forest games, wildlife. You can't touch any animal there. How come that we go to Galamsey and we have police force, we have military, and we can't stop it? We're joking. We have to declare that state of emergency that, look, this is our existence that we are threatening. Without water, how do you survive? You are looking for gold and money. If you have all the money in this world and you can't have water to drink, then what do? Because research has shown that within 11 days, if you don't drink water, you die. Fasting, maybe you can do 30 days. And sleep is about 15 or so days. But water, because 2/3 of our body is water. And why are we destroying the source of water? Even children being born now, they are coming with defects. One eye is missing, kidney problem. Children, 2-3 years are going on dialysis. Why are we doing this to ourselves? And when politicians speak, the average person, the youth sitting down there, they are tired. That is why when NDC won, you saw them going to places, vandalizing things and picking up things. Because they have seen the robbery, the naked robbery. Even simple food to schools. You have some beggars and some matrons stealing those foods. Why? That is why I began by saying that we seem to hate ourselves and our country. Let me give you an example. There was this headmaster that I knew. He taught for almost 30 years. He was on Cap 30 like my father. My father was a head teacher. Now, this man was going on retirement. And then he started looking for an accommodation. He got to this woman, and the woman said, are you not the headmaster of this senior high school? And he said, yes. He said, and you don't have a house? I'm very disappointed in you, because in this town, even armed robbers have houses. Do you see that the nation that we built, even armed robbers have houses? The man stood there quietly. He called me. He said, the woman, Wakamasem. She's spoken to me in parables. So he had about 2 years to retire. And then they were cutting blocks to build a new library. Guess what? He started, taking the blocks from the library to his private land that he had. And within the 2 years, he was able to build. And guess what? When he finished the building, who was the first person to come there? That woman. He said, now you are acting like a headmaster.
He became an armed robber.
You see?
Yes.
So we have created a situation where identities are only given to people who have cars and houses. Oh, that man, that is his house. That man, that is his car. So if I don't have a house or a car, I'm not respected in society. And that is why somebody will kill their mother for Toyota Camry. You see a society that we built, we need to dedicate ourselves. We need to orient ourselves and have values. What is our values as a nation? Is it telling the truth? We used to have a tradition where during the 8th day of a child, naming ceremony, we will put a drop of water on your lips and say that if you see water, this is water. And then we'll give you another drop of wine or any alcohol that this is alcohol. So speak the truth. If you see alcohol, say alcohol. If you see water, say water. The onus of that culture was to tell us to speak the truth. But are we speaking the truth now? So what are our values now? What values do we discard and what values do we replace? It is good to go for abuachiri. Those of you from the, central region. But what is the value that the youth are learning from abuachiri? You go get the deer and then you bring the deer. What do you do next? What is the value that you have to teach the youth? I have seen kids who sit in palanquins, and those who are carrying them are even just walking barefooted. They don't have anything that they wear. They carry them. Are we just showing? Are we a nation of showism at, parties, at funerals that we are just coming to show off? Or we want to show the youth some values that they can pick from. Look at the values that the Ashanti Regional Minister, that young guy, did yesterday. He went to clean the gutters. Gutters have pieces of materials, toilets, and everything stinky. When he was cleaning, and he said, now in Kumasi, if you litter, you pay for it. Those are the kind of leadership we are looking for. A young guy. And when he was cleaning, even some market women there, those by the roadside with their stores, they were watching him. He doesn't come from that area. He doesn't stay there. But he was cleaning the gutters to model the way, and others were watching. That is the nationalism that we see in Rwanda now, that every month, every last Saturday, they do labor, national labor. Everybody goes to clean their gutters and keep the environment clean. And that is why Kigali is the cleanest city now in Africa.
Let me come to Mr. Maleba. Do you agree with it?
Oh, yes. I think that is the mindset. I will tell you a story about Rwanda when I went. I entered into a forex bureau, they spend Rwand franc, then change my money, dollar into franc. Then there were some coins given to me. So when I step out, I said, oh, normally when I travel, I bring these coins back home as souvenirs, but it's too much now. Private security man was standing by. I stretched my hand to give him the money. He initially thought it was a handshake. When he saw the money, he retreated. Then my guy told me that it's not allowed. Then I said, Abam, it's a gift. No, it's not. There are cameras around. This is a private security. You're like your people at the gate here, not state security. I'm sure if I had done that to state security, they would have bundled me up.
Yeah.
You see? You are about to sell the delegation. What am I saying? I'm saying that it is the way you tune the minds of the people in the country. We are so free in this country. So free. To the extent that you are even talking about killing an animal in Rwanda. They say if you cut down a tree in Rwanda, you will sleep in your room that day. So clearly, it has to do with orientation, and reorientation. We are not different from the people there. It is just that when we went to look at how to come back and implement Okada, you could see that every Okada person there was on helmet. There's a vest to identify him as an Okada person. Then the person he picked also has a helmet. Then when they got to the traffic lights, they all stop. They all stop. They all stop. No. And when they get motorists, when they get to zebra crossing, they stop for the person to pass. And I'm saying that we can only achieve much depending on the kind of people we are. As a country, I am beginning to think that much of the blame should be put on the people more than the leaders. But I also know that leaders are supposed to lead the way. And I am of the view that if we get leadership to as it were, construct the way for us. But see, in Ghana too, we have the opposition. Anytime that you want to implement a policy, then the opposition will capitalize on it, be on the side of the people, against you, the government, and you end up stopping what you are going to do. But we have a long way. But I think that as a nation, we have to come together and agree on one thing. I am disappointed that the MPP refused to go to the summit. Yeah. But the crux of the matter has to do with Afenyo Markin. He needs the MPP would wake up one day and realize that this guy is leading them to the ditch. Look at what he did when they were asked to go for orientation. He led his people to boycott it. These are not good signs of a nation wanting to come together. I think that the MPP leadership, as the National Council, should have an introspection and look at what their party is doing, whether they want to continue doing that.
I mean, about the citizen problem, I mean, where do we go from there?
Yeah, if you look at the GTP, the last pillar of the GTP, you know, we have 6 pillars. The last one has to do with the behavioral and mindset change. We believe that yes, it takes leadership to lead, but you can only lead when those who are following properly. So we looked at the issue of respect for law and order. It is very important. One particular issue that we need to work on. Okay. Because in this country, people don't respect our laws. I mean, there's complete breakdown of respect for law and order. Then you also look at the issue of patriotism. Yes, Mr. Jantua says something. I think today people care more about their political party than the country. That spirit of patriotism is no more. When people wake up, they are thinking of how to make their political parties better and not how to make the country better. and it's a very serious problem you are dealing with. Then attitude to work. This thing that you say that abanye juma yensua wochu nazi. Infantifozi abanye juma wonsua wochu nazi. People think that yes, it is government's work, not my work. So if it is their own work, they will give it much attention. They will do it well. But if it's about government work, then I can go to work anytime and close anytime. And that is one of the issues we experience. Then enforcement of discipline. That is what has made Rwanda Rwanda. Yeah. When you set laws and people break the laws, you discipline them. You don't allow a politician to follow the person to come and beg, or a chief in the village to follow the person to come and beg. You discipline the person according to what the law says. We deal with that in our GTP. And I want to urge the government to consider the GTP, especially this particular issue, and also the issue of arrogance of power. Okay. And this has to do with the leaders. As I said, whatever we do, it rises and falls with leadership. The president, yes, the youth in this country have a role to play. I've said that beyond elections, the youth don't need hope. They need jobs. Okay. That is what we would have to give to the youth of this country. Okay. Yeah.
I mean, Mr. Jantua, there are those who say that there is a disconnect between the government and the citizens, and they blame it on the government directly, that they have simply failed to rally the people. People don't have confidence in their government, and so in the end, it's a state of lawlessness. Everyone, more or less, like in the jungle, trying to survive. And that is how come people are doing some of the things that we consider to be lawless.
Do we respect government? When we put a government in place, do we respect them? They say, when you go into a country and you want to learn or know the character of the people, see how they drive. That will tell you the kind of people you have there. I have seen foreigners in this country jump traffic lights. They will not do it in their own country. Yeah. They will not do it in their own country. So why? What is the challenge? Somebody can go and what? Dam a river and cobra. Damn it. Just because they won't go. And we sit and do nothing about it. I have said, and I'll continue to say, we've got to a stage where Galamsey is concerned. Shoot to kill. Let's kill a few people and you see what would happen. Because it looks as if, I'm not sure whether I can say in Africa, but in Ghana, corporal punishment is what we understand. We don't understand court. There and there, whip them. You do something wrong, whip you there. You see, people will fall into line. Because you cannot understand. Look at our laws. We have all the beautiful laws in this country. Why can't we apply? What is going wrong? Okay. If you have your own police people who are not abiding by the laws that they are supposed to protect, where are we going? That is why I expect President Mahama to be brutal in some of these things. Yeah. Brutal in some of these things. Because it looks as if the Ghanaian, we want it hard. And we need to go hard to get things in place, to get things in shape. Okay. Look, Agable, if you make $1 million today, do you know when you will die? Do you know when you will die? COVID was a typical example of showing us how even billionaires died and their money couldn't save them. Yeah. So why is the materialism taking over? What is it that we want to prove? That I'm better than you because I'm sitting in a better car than you? What is up here is what is important, not the car you drive. Because the beautiful things that you're looking for have not even yet been done. I bought this phone how many years? 5 years ago. Within 5 years, do you know the type of phones that have come that are better than this one? So what is the challenge? Yeah. We have to be able to think country first. All the foreigners who come here to do our gold and to do our oil and to do all that, do you think they are doing it for themselves? No, they are doing it to make their country better. Okay. Because when their country is better, they are also better. Can we compare ourselves to Norway? The taxes in Norway are high, but the kind of social services that are provided the people, they are comfortable. Why can't we do it here? Okay. And I agree with you. It is the people more than the government. If the people can't change their mindset, then government, whatever they do, will not succeed. And for me, that is where it starts from. It starts from the classroom. The children who are 3, 4, 5 years today, we have to instill certain things in them for them to grow. You know, at my ripe old age of 67, when I wake up in the morning, you know yes, I'm 67. I'll be 68 this year. Do you know the first thing I do when I wake up? I lay my bed. Because it has been instilled in me from childhood.
Yeah.
I brush my teeth. Second thing, I wash my face. I iron my clothes from childhood.
Yeah.
So if we don't instill these things in our children today, who are the future, where are we going for? Where are we going to?
Yeah.
And where are we heading to?
I mean, Prof, the final point on that, and I think I agree with him perfectly on the socialization question.
So
it should start at an early age.
We need to do more orientation than education, because the former setting, even our best teachers are parents. Our best teachers are parents. And what they instill in us, that discipline helps you a lot. Academia is also a discipline. That's why we specialize in different areas. I agree with all of them, but I'm bringing, because I'm a leadership person, I'm bringing the leadership piece. 80% of leadership is followership. And while we just sit down to allow the 20% to do everything without the 80%, making sure that, and followership means that you can equally be a leader. So you keep the leaders on their toes. I think that the way the system has been, we need to be more disciplined in shaping the country that we all have. Unfortunately, you don't have many role models. When we were young, you see a rich man somewhere at the outskirts of the town, and nobody knows the source of their money. Children were even afraid to go to that area, right? They would say, ask for this man's secret.
Yeah, that's true.
But these days, nobody cares how you made your money. People come to you.
Run around
so what happened to those values that we learn? And that is where we have to go back, Sankofa. We have to go back and take it.
Okay.
Where we respected leaders. Where my grandmother, my grandfather, I couldn't say "oh" in front of them. That's an insult.
Okay.
And that discipline helped a lot. But these days, even look at our airwaves.
Yeah.
Children, even those who insult more on social media, are popular than those who are speaking sense. And we need to go back and take those values. And then the law. America is America because of how the laws work. In fact, I've been given many tickets by the way I'm parking. If you're driving and you're parking this way, you have to face this way. If you're parking this way, you have to face the other way. I made a mistake of facing the other way, but I've parked well. I was given a ticket. So if you are supposed to drive 50 miles an hour here and you drive 55 or 60, that is overspeeding. They charge you $500. It is hefty. And the whole week you are getting $250 for your paycheck. So you are paying twice, which is 2 weeks of your salary for just overspeeding. You will not be stupid
you might
again.
As well park the car and just walk.
You will not be stupid again to overspeed.
Yeah.
So because the law works, everybody is disciplined. And now I know a lot of white folks that when they come together and say, now I'm driving, I'm not driving. Because here you overspeed and nobody will stop you. Yeah. And we need to learn that the law works. And why should the law work? Because the leaders must model the way. The court system, let me come to the lawyers here. They find it very difficult to talk about the corner bra, go and come. I have a friend who is a lawyer, and he dispensed a case within 1 month. And his father, who was a lawyer, called him, Kofi, are you stupid? Because I used one case to take care of a whole secondary school to university. You see, sometimes they even negotiate with the other lawyer, right? The lawyers are here. They negotiate with the other lawyer that, look, we'll go and settle this. And they do that because they are siphoning money from the poor farmer or the poor market woman. But you can dispense of the case within a month. So why this corner bra? We even have Supreme Court cases where we said that your birth certificate is not appropriate as a national identity, but we are using your passport. But remember, the primary document was your birth certificate that you used to make your passport. It's like I have done a research, and then somebody cites me, and then you are picking the secondary source, but not the primary source. It doesn't make sense anywhere. But it made sense in the law here. And we were telling the whole world that our birth certificate is not valid. So the lawyers, please, when people come to court and they have enough evidence, because again there is evidence, dispense of the case so that we can move forward. There are a lot of cases sitting out there, and when the youth lose confidence in the law, then they won't do the right thing.
I see.
Akable, somebody just sent a message about my shoot to kill. Those Galamsey people have guns. They are using bazookas. They are firing at ordinary people. They should fire back at them. And if we fire them
but you agree that the law requires that if you are going to use the force, you have to measure it in relation to the.
Yeah, we have measured the force. That is the force we've measured. We measured the force.
Who did the measurement?
Wait. And Prof, the wheels of justice grind slow.
I know, but your slowness is too slow.
In relation to the issue of discipline and issue of how to inculcate patriotism, discipline, hard work in our youth. You see, I asked this simple question: can an indisciplined teacher teach a child to be disciplined? And the answer is no.
No.
Children, whatever they learn, they want to see it. If our leaders will begin to exhibit patriotism, if they begin to exhibit sense of nationalism.
I can't imagine what the primary school children would think about the parliament videos where.
Yeah, I was coming to that.
I'm wondering what will run through their mind.
No, I was coming to that. Coming to that. Because we can't teach them from books what they can't see our leaders do. So that's what I'm saying. Everything begins and ends with leadership.
Okay.
They would have to show the way for even our children in the classroom to learn from them.
But who are the leaders? The leaders aren't only the politicians, though. You are a leader. He is a leader. Yeah. You should be able to tell people when they throw things out, hey, Oga, stop that, pick it up. You should be able to do it.
Of course.
Because there are leaders in every part. Here, as we sit here, there are leaders here.
Because it's a village. Let's go back to a village where
the chiefs,
your child does not belong to you alone.
Yes.
Anybody in the village can discipline your child.
Yeah, but Nana, I spoke of leadership in context. Yeah. But I agree with you that.
I mean, in our own small corner, when we were there, we have to.
Parents, as a parent, I'm a leader.
Yeah.
As a father, I'm a leader.
Look, in my day, you do something wrong. The next door neighbor, who is your father's friend, sees you. They will lash you there, bring you home, tell your father, and your father will lash you. Yeah. Today, can it happen?
No, we benefited from that. I benefited from that.
Can it happen?
But today,
it can't happen.
Today, no.
No, we are not even allowed to cane the child at school. So,
but you see, Prof made a point, and I want to explain it. No two lawyers meet and say we want to slow down the case. No two lawyers meet.
For some weird reasons, I knew that was where you were going.
All my friends are lawyers.
No two lawyers meet.
You need evidence.
This matter, let's delay it. No. It is rather that the legal system itself is inherently slow. So, for instance, you can't just file a case today and the person will come tomorrow. You have to look for where he is. If you don't find him, they won't say that the case should go on. They'll say, go for substance service. Because the other man must be heard in the Bible of the Garden of Eden. So, I agree it can be frustrating. Yes. I think that you are just magnifying, but I understand where you are coming from.
Okay.
But you see, children learn from their parents. And the first teacher is the parent. I'll give you an example. Yesterday, I was driving the family out to their school. Then my wife asked me, why is it that when the children ask you a question, you take time to explain to them? I told her that that's how my father also trained me. When those days, my child, when I ask my father a question, he will explain it to me into detail. He talks to me like his colleague. That's how he did. So that's how I'm also doing it.
Okay.
And I told her that unfortunately, you see, we are going to PTA with the children. But you see, I'm not going because from P1 to my university, my father never visited me in school. Oh, yes. So that one to me too, I can't do it. so I have imbibed certain things from my father.
Yeah.
You know, the small one will ask me that, Daddy, you have never come to PTA. I feel for her, but the motivation is not there.
Yeah.
Socialization
is very, very important.
It's very important.
Yeah. I mean, so that is it by way of our conversation on the Independence Day, on the issues surrounding it. But I mean, right after the Independence Day ceremony, the president headed to the Volta region where we are having the tidal wave situation. I mean, some of the experts have blamed it on the climate change and its attendant effects and what is causing all of that. I mean, I want to start with you, Mr. Janto, on this issue of the tidal wave. I have seen pictures and videos of individuals who have been rendered homeless. And over the years, we've had conversations around sea defense and all of that. I mean, the president has directed the finance minister to make some budgetary allocation to ensure that they deal with, one, the accommodation for those who have been displaced, and also the sea defense project that has been outstanding for a while now. Satisfied with the government's response so far?
The president indicated to us, and correct me if I'm wrong, that all the plans for that area in terms of sea destruction and all that are there.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the previous government couldn't put it into practice. But it's not only that area. We need to look at the entire coast. So this has happened. If there was any other country, they would come back and say, let's have a look at the entire coast. Where is the sea eminent to take over land?
Yeah.
But you see, in places like Ikoyi in Nigeria, they've been able to reclaim land miles into the sea. Can't we do it here? Is it not possible? I think what we need is a plan of reclamation of the sea. Where we need defense wall, let's do it. Where we don't and we can reclaim, let's do it. But that plan has to be in place. We can't hop, step, and jump. So it happens here, then we find money to do that. Then it happens here, we find money to do that. We need a holistic plan. How are we going to do it? How much money will be required to do it? Because today, I would have hoped that if for nothing at all, we would have some kind of budget for earthquake. Are we not an earthquake zone?
Yeah.
If earthquake happens today, what money are we going to use? We need to be able to plan these things going forward so that when it happens, the people are not put in a difficult situation. What is happening in the Volta is serious. When you stand on the coastline of the Volta and you throw your eyes, it's like the coastline in Spain. It is that rich and that beautiful. Why should we sit for the sea to destroy it? No, we cannot do that. And you see, the added value with the sea in Ghana, and Ghana in particular, more than any West African coastal country, is the fact that the added value of salt is key. Senegal and Ghana are the only two countries with natural salt deposits. So we can even, what can we even do? We can even create business from that. So we need a plan.
Okay.
As I keep saying, we have decided that the North is the breadbasket of Ghana. We need a plan for the North, how we develop the North. Just a plan for how, a development plan for the North alone, and put it in action. Within the next 10 years, if we are able to do that, what is it? We have the landlocked countries coming down. Businesses will go up because it's a comfortable place to stay. The rural-urban migration would have limited itself because people are beautiful and fine living in those areas. But if we don't plan ahead, how do we make things happen?
Okay.
And I expect President Mahama to start putting such things in place.
I mean, Ebu, how significant was the president's visit? I mean, right after the independence celebration, went over there to show the people that, look, he's here with them.
It was very significant. I mean, once again, he showed leadership. He showed that he cared. I grew up, I'm a typical coastal guy. And the school that I attended, the nursery school that I attended, at a point in time, I realized that it was being taken over by the sea. Areas that we used to play football, those areas are no more because they've been taken over by the sea. Fortunately, if you go to Cape Coast, some of the areas we have sea defense walls. One of the things we are losing heavily is our beachfront. And the beachfront contributes significantly to tourism. You know that. When it comes to tourism, beachfronts play a very key role. And unfortunately, we are losing our beachfront because of the increase in water levels or the sea levels.
Okay.
If you really want to solve the problem, one thing about water is that once you push it here, it will find it will find another place to occupy. So we need to have a comprehensive plan along our coasts, and we shouldn't just be doing like we see this problem, we solve it temporarily. If you have a comprehensive plan, then we can include, we can even design our sea defense architecture in a way that it can even help to promote tourism along the beach still.
Okay.
And so, but the president said something, it looks as if the previous government abandoned or ignored the situation, the water situation completely. I mean, I listened to the president, and he said that I think they had something.
He said the plans were already in place.
Yeah, he said the
money wasn't available to do it.
So he said they were doing something, but at a point in time, they couldn't because of money, and the previous government did not continue. It means they couldn't mobilize money to do it. But I believe that it's so important that they should have found way to solve that problem. For me, that problem was more important than a national cathedral. If you compare the two, that if you're able to find money to build that, to dig that hole there, of course, we should have found money to do it.
I mean, Prof, I have seen videos, and some of the residents, they've taken our colleagues to areas where they used to live. In fact, cemeteries that have been taken over by the water completely. I mean, everyone seems to agree that there has to be a comprehensive plan to just resolve this once and for all.
Yes, well, without planning, everything in life is left to chance. Your life is like a lottery. So we all need to plan. If you think about 300 people displaced and 51 homes gone, these are acts of God, what the insurance companies call acts of God. And we need to make provision for it. You know that as we sit here, the Volta River passes through 5 African countries. So ask yourself, if there's a spill, which country will be in charge of it? There's no plan for it. And the best way to solve a problem is to foresee it before it becomes a problem. But we have refused to see our problems. And we are using ad hoc measures. Why? Because we are thinking about the next elections, not the next generation. That has been our problem. So I was also at Lemon Beach Resort a few weeks ago. I saw that stretch of sea defense.
Yeah.
So if you go to Cape Coast, government has done a lot. What happened to my brothers and sisters at the Volta region? If you have the FMP, the Facilities Management Plan, and then you don't have budget allocation for it, then what have you done? So they could have sought grants, to help that, because those brothers and sisters of ours there also need to be protected. And I think that where every resource is skewed in favor of Accra, we have that problem. Everything is coming from Accra. Decentralization is just on paper. We need to take care of the village folks, because fish and all those things are also coming from Keta and other areas and the Volta region. They are also contributing to the national, development, and we need to take care of them. The last thing I want to say is that when 9/11 happened, George Bush couldn't go to New Orleans, and that affected the Republican Party in the next elections. One good thing about leadership is that you should show up when there's a disaster. And the president did a good job by showing up to show empathy, because every leader is an empathetic thinker. Once you go to commensurate with the people, empathize with them, and then show that kind of compassion, they know you are part of them. So I think that was a good point that the president did.
But he had votes from there, so he has no say not to go. He has to go. He got votes from there.
Mr. Maliba, on the tidal wave situation.
Well, whereas yesterday some of us were enjoying our holidays, I think after the celebration he jetted to that place. Yeah. So it means that he didn't have any holiday. But that is how leadership is. Sometimes it can be lonely, sometimes it can be hectic, sometimes it can be enjoyable. So for me, having gone there in itself was symbolic, to share in their pain and to commiserate with them. I also saw the regional minister, pass the night with the people. And if you are a victim of circumstances and you find your leaders, commiserating with you in this way, empathizing with you in this way, you have some satisfaction, fulfillment, that when you queued on 7th December, you didn't throw your votes away. Compared to what the running mate of the Bawumia told the people of this country, when a similar thing happened, that if the government budgets for the tidal wave issue, he in Napo would lead a demonstration in Kumasi. That's not governance. And this was a leader. You know, let me not go into what Nana Akufo-Addo himself said, that he didn't need to come here because they don't vote for him.
When the flood, the spillage issue happened.
Yes. And I have heard some of our people make the point that we are not so ruthless with these people. I think that our people should be patient, you know. When people went out to vote in those massive numbers, it was also because of some of this conduct of the previous leaders, where they ruled this country with iron hands, and people were just eager to see their back. We shouldn't come and repeat those things. Okay. I think that we shouldn't come and repeat this. We should rise above that. But wrongs must be curtailed.
Okay.
If there are wrongs committed under their regime, that must be dealt with.
Okay.
But the kind of things that people want us to do, go seize their cars, arrest them, that commentary was what people said that this is not governance. So let's clear them off. And you saw how it was massive. We shouldn't fall into that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Akable, just a quick thing.
Sure.
It was good to see President Akufo-Addo at the Independence Square today. Yeah. Did he take his chair? Was the chair there, or was sitting on any ordinary chair?
I knew he was going to go there.
No, but did he take his chair?
You're asking me whether...
Yes, was he sitting on his chair?
The chair that had the car. The chair he was seated on didn't look like the one.
Ordinary chair. So what was all this traveling around with his chair?
Right? Superstition.
Okay, I'll leave that to our viewers to provide the answers to that.
If you would permit me, I would want to say hi to someone.
Okay, you can do that.
You always say hi to someone.
Yes, and you see, Prof.
That means you have a lot of someones.
Ebo, please go on. Right? Do it quickly for us.
This one was a special request.
Okay, Ebo, go on.
I'm saying this special hi to Simply Gigi. She's a fashion designer at Tonsu. This is special hi from Phil. Yeah, from Phil. So,
I see.
So,
this is coded though. It's coded though.
As well as a special
not a lot of people understand what you're saying.
The one watching us.
All right, okay, that's fine. So, I mean, that's our discussion this morning. My guests have been Abraham Amaliba, Acting Director General, National Road Safety Authority. Kwame Jantua is a legal practitioner and a member of the Convention People's Party. Ebo Bachman is a senior communicator with the Movement for Change. Professor Enoch Opoku-Antwi is a governance and policy analyst. And I am Joseph Akable. That is the discussion for Big Issue segment of the show. There's more to learn on the show. Don't go away. We have some good music. We'll learn a bit more about the Ghana culture as well. And this has been a discussion from the Ghana Village, not our regular studios, but the Ghana Village here at TV3. New day continues right now.